Good afternoon. It is Tuesday lunchtime. Been a busy morning again. Got a busy afternoon, but we're nice little break for lunch. We are back in the Enchanted Wood, and we've got Squirtle with us today. Give us a wave, Squirtle. There we go. We've got a special treat today. We've got the Enchanted Wood. We have also got a story written by McMolster called Lily and the Unicorn. Quite a short one, isn't it? But you had to do it for your part of your schoolwork. So we're going to read Lily and the Unicorn. What I've also brought along is just to put as part of the kind of like the theme of what we're doing with the Enchanted Wood. There's a book here with lots of different things that you can make from all of the Enid Blyton books. So we've got, it might be fun to show people at home. We've got tea time treats up the faraway tree. So we've got all of the things that you can make that appear in the story. I don't think we've had Google buns yet, but I always used to like that. I always used to like the idea of Google buns.
Or Silky's cake pop.
Silky's pop cakes. Yeah. So they're the ones that kind of like explode in your mouth, don't they? Yeah. But we've had toffee for Moonface. So let's have a quick look at toffee for Moonface, because maybe we ought to. When the things appear, we can show people at home how to make them. So it says, warning: do not attempt this recipe without an adult, and possibly just let the adult do the work. Molten toffee is as hot as lava and very dangerous.
I'd be a bit scared to try Silky's pop cakes because they pop in your mouth.
Yeah, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they pop, don't they?
Yeah, I don't really like what is it called? What are they called? Those sprinkles that pop in your mouth too.
Oh, the popping candy.
Yeah, popping candy. I don't like them.
We knew it as space dust when we were.
I don't like them, so I don't think I would like them.
No, you probably don't, and that's tiny little explosions, aren't they? So maybe one day we'll make the toffee and some of the other things.
Because it pinches your tongue. It's really
it really hurts. Tingles, doesn't it? So we're off to Dame Snap's school now. I know that my friend Sue is following these stories from her own book, which was the original kind of books. I think, well, obviously not the original because Sue's not that old, but the previous version of it. And be good for you to ping me, Sue. Does it say, I'm sure I remember it as being Dame Slap's school rather than Dame Snap's school. So if you can check the original as to whether it's Slap or Snap. But for the purposes of this, we're off to Dame Snap's school. So, and Dame Snap looks a scary lady. She's got a big old nose going on, hasn't she?
Yeah.
A big old nose going on. Right, off to Dame Snap's school. This is chapter 20. Wow. Joe flew the aeroplane very well indeed. As soon as he was high enough, he pressed the straight-on handle and the shiny aeroplane flew forward. The children leant over the side to see what they were flying over. They'd soon passed the land of take-what-you-want and came to a strange, desolate country where no trees or grass grew and not a house was to be seen. That's the country of loneliness, said Moonface, peering over. Don't land there, Joe. Fly on. Joe flew on. Once he came to an enormous hill and he had to quickly press the handle marked up, or the aeroplane would have flown straight into it. But otherwise it was really great fun. Joe had no idea that it was so easy to fly. The little white goat on Beth's knee was as good as gold. It licked Beth's cheek every now and then, as if it were a dog. The hens were good and quiet, and the clock lay perfectly still. The aeroplane flew over a land of great towers and castles. Giant land, said Silky, looking in wonder at the enormous buildings. I hope we don't land there. Rather not, said Joe, and he pressed the straight-on handle down still further, so that the aeroplane flew forward like a bird, faster and faster. The children's hair streamed backwards, and as for Silky's mop of golden hair, it looked like a field of buttercups blown in the wind. Over the land of Lollipop they went, and over the country of Flop, and then the aeroplane began to make a funny noise. Hello, said Joe, what's wrong? I believe the aeroplane's tired, said Moonface. It sounds out of breath. Don't be silly, Moonface, said Joe. Aeroplanes don't get out of breath. This kind does, said Moonface. Can't you hear it panting? It certainly seemed as if the aeroplane was panting. went. "Had we better go down and give it a rest?" said Joe. "Yes," said Moonface, peering over the side. "It seems safe enough. I don't know what land this is, but it looks quite ordinary. There's a big green house down below with an enormous garden. Perhaps you could land on that long, smooth lawn, Joe. It shouldn't get too bumpy then." "Right," said Joe, and pressed the handle marked down, and down they went, gliding smoothly. Bump! They reached the grass and ran along on the aeroplane's big wheels. It stopped and everyone got out, glad to stretch their legs. 10 minutes rest and the aeroplane will be ready to go off again, said Moonface, patting it. "I wonder where we are," said Silky, looking round. Moonface gazed at the big green house in the distance, and then he frowned. "Oh my," he groaned. "I know whose house that is. It's a school, and it belongs to old Dame Snap. All the naughty pixies and gnomes and fairies are sent there to learn to behave better. Let's hope Dame Snap doesn't catch sight of us." Everyone looked about nervously. Suddenly, down a path came a tall old woman with large spectacles on her long nose and a big white bonnet on her head. Moonface ran to the aeroplane. "Quick," he said, "it's Dame Snap." But the old lady was up to them before they could escape. "Aha," she said, "so here is another lot of naughty folk sent to me to be cured. Come this way, please." "We haven't been sent to you," said Joe. "We landed here to give our aeroplane a rest. We're on our way home." "Naughty boy to tell stories like that," said Dame Snap suddenly in such a loud and frightening voice that it made him jump. "Come with me, all of you." There didn't seem to be anything else they could do. Joe, Beth, Franny, Moonface, Silky, the white goat, and the 7 hens followed Dame Snap, looking very miserable. The clock wouldn't walk, so Silky had to carry it. Everyone felt very hungry. Joe pulled Dame Snap's sleeve timidly. "Could we please have something to eat?" he asked. "A meal will be ready in a few minutes," said Dame Snap. "Heads up, everyone. Don't stoop, little girl," snapped the old woman. The little girl she meant was poor Franny, who got such a fright that she stood up straight. Really, Dame Snap was not at all a nice person. It was very bad luck to have landed in her garden. But everybody cheered up a little at the thought of a meal. They were taken into a large hall full of pixies and other fairy folk. They were all sitting down in rows at wooden tables, but they stood up when Dame Snap came into the room. "Sit over there," said Dame Snap, pointing to an empty table. The children, Moonface, Silky, the goat, and the hens all took their places. The clock was stood at the end and looked very sulky. The children looked down the tables. "Ooh, what lovely cakes, what big jugs of lemonade." Dame Snap ran her eyes over the little folk standing at the tables. She frowned. "Twinkle, come here," she snapped. A small pixie walked up to her. "Haven't I told you to brush your hair properly for meal times?" shouted Dame Snap so loudly into Twinkle's ear that he burst into tears. "And there's Doodle over there with a torn shirt," said Dame Snap. "Come here, Doodle." Doodle came and was shouted at very loudly indeed. Beth and Franny felt nervous and hoped their hair and hands and dresses were clean and tidy. "Sit," said Dame Snap, and everyone sat. "Have a cake." Have a cake," said Joe, and passed Beth and Franny a plate of delicious-looking cakes with cherries in the middle. But what a shock for them. As soon as the cakes touched their plates, they turned into round, hard pieces of stale bread. The children didn't dare to say a word. They saw that the same thing happened to everyone in the room, except Dame Snap, who had a marvellous meal of cakes, lemonade and sandwiches. The lemonade turned into water as soon as it was poured into the children's glasses. It was all dreadfully disappointing. In the middle of the meal, a gnome servant came in to say that someone wanted to speak to Dame Snap, and she went out of the room. And then, dear me, the children found that the pixies and fairies in the room were really very naughty indeed. They crowded round them and jabbed at them and pinched them and made such rude remarks that Franny began to cry. They made such a noise that nobody heard Dame Snap coming back in again. My goodness, wasn't she angry? She clapped her hands together and made everyone jump nearly out of their skin. "What's all this?" she snapped loudly in a very fierce voice. "Form up in line. March past me at once." To the children's dismay, the cross old lady shouted right in everyone's ear as they passed. And when they passed her, she didn't shout at them, for she knew that they'd been teased by the others. So they were all very glad indeed, and felt a little bit more cheerful. "Go to the schoolroom," said Dame Snap, when the last of the line had gone by. So to the schoolroom they all went and took their places, even the little green-winged hens. Now, please, answer the questions written on the blackboard, said Dame Snap. You have each got paper and pencil. Anyone putting down the wrong answers will be very sorry indeed. Joe looked at the questions on the board. He read them out to the others in great astonishment. If you take away 3 caterpillars from one bush, how many berries will there be left? Add a pint of milk to the pound of peas and say what will be left over. If a train runs at 6 miles an hour and has to pass under 4 tunnels, say what the driver's mother is likely to have for dinner on Sundays. Everybody gazed at the board in despair. Whatever did the questions mean? They seemed to be nonsense. I can't do any, said Moonface in a loud voice, and he threw down his pencil. It's all silly nonsense, said Joe, and he threw down his pencil too. The girls did the same, and Silky tore her paper in half. All the pixie and fairy folk stared at them in the greatest astonishment and horror. Indeed, said Dame Snap, suddenly looking twice as big as usual. If that's how you feel, come with me. Nobody wanted to go with her, but they found that they had to, for their legs walked after them after Dame Snap without even trying to. It was most extraordinary. Dame Snap led them to a small room and pushed them all in. Then she shut the door with a slam and turned the key in the lock. You will stay there for 3 hours, and then I will come and see if you're sorry, she snapped. This is awful, said Joe gloomily. She's no right to keep us here. We don't belong to her silly school. We haven't been naughty. It was just an accident that we came here. Well, what are we to do now, said Silky, pushing back her golden hair. It seems as if we'll have to stay here for 3 hours, and then say sorry, and be shouted at again. I don't like it at all. Nobody liked it. They all sat on the floor and looked angry and miserable. If only they could escape from Dame Snap's silly old school. So tomorrow's episode, chapter 21, is called Silky's Clock is Very Clever. Okay, but now a very special one, because we've got a book written by Molly McSquirtle-Quick, famously of London. And this was called Lily and the Unicorn. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Lily, and Lily loved unicorns. If they were real, it would be like a wish came true. One day, Lily was in the forest, picking flowers for her mum. Then a unicorn poked her head out of the bushes. Lily felt like screaming. Then Lily said, I will name you Sparkles. Sparkles said, I can grant wishes. And then Lily said, I wish I had a magic carpet. And then a few sparkles came out of Sparkle's horn. And then a magic carpet appeared. It really was a wish came true. The end.
That was short.
Lily and the Unicorn. But it was short, but it was very good. Very exciting. We had magic carpets, we had magic, we had unicorns, and a little girl called Lily. So there was a lot going on in that short space of time, but it was jolly good. Okay, so what else we got? Got any shout outs to do? I'll tell you what, one of the first people that kind of whenever we post these, one of the first people that likes it every day is my friend Glenn, who I know as Chocky Jarman. So let's do a shout out to Glenn, because I always like the fact that he likes it every day. So thank you, Chocky Jarman. So we are back in the Enchanted Wood tomorrow for Silky's Clock being very clever, and hopefully their escape from Dame Snap's school. But have a tremendous day. Be good for everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.